Department of Transportation's National Highway Transportation Safety Administration claims the use of LiDAR technology in a portable unmanned device requires stability. Does the DLS-10S instability explain the problems that Optotraffic has had with inaccuracy? In other words,
I don't know of any instability that you're talking about.
Have there been problems with accuracy?
No.
None?
None.
Okay. When we appeared on September 23rd and October 19th, you testified that the DLS-10S has withstood 80-mile-per-hour winds. Is that correct?
That's my understanding.
And when I questioned you about that, you said that this was conducted in the state of New York?
Yes.
And it was hurricane winds. That's the winds that it was subjected to? Were you present during that testing?
No.
Were there any documents produced from that testing? Any test results from that testing?
Not that I know of.
Where did the testing take place specifically?
I don't know specifically.
Well, you offered in court as testimony on 2 previous dates that was lending to the accuracy of this equipment, that it withstood 80-mile-per-hour winds, and you were under oath. So how do you substantiate that? Was that done by Cal Custom, or who did that?
I don't know specifically.
Did the machine withstand 80-mile-per-hour winds in a hurricane and still take the photographs accurately?
That's what I was informed.
How were you informed? Is this hearsay? I mean, you introduced that as evidence in court. You're nodding your head. This is an audio transcript.
I understand.
Was the answer no?
What does that have to do with this particular citation?
This is the equipment that's accusing all these people of speeding. The last time we were in court, you also indicated that the DLS-10S was not included in the International Association of Chiefs of Police listing of approved speed monitoring devices. Has that changed? Are you now blessed by the International Association of Chiefs of Police? Or are you still not included in that list?
I don't know who's included in that list. I know we're not.
You're not, okay.
Yes.
But Optotraffic prides itself on the DLS-10S's accuracy, doesn't it?
We believe our equipment to be accurate, of course.
And the company has produced an abundance of press releases touting the accuracy and your successes, hasn't it?
We have issued press releases which talk about the accuracy of our cameras, yes, sir.
And you yourself have claimed these successes or the accuracy in court as well.
I have, yes.
And I've been present for that. Did you offer testimony that the device achieves an accuracy rate of plus or minus 1 mile per hour?
I said that our equipment is comparable to other speed monitoring equipment, which has an accuracy rate of plus or minus 1 mile an hour, yes, sir.
And did you offer testimony that it operates at a plus 99% accuracy?
I don't remember testifying to that. No.
I recall in court when a defendant had asked you, does it ever fail? And you said it was 99.9% reliable.
I don't remember saying that.
Is it 99.9% reliable?
It has an accuracy rate of plus or minus 1 mile per hour.
That's not the question. Is it 99.9% reliable?
It has an accuracy rate of plus or minus 1 mile per hour.
Your Honor, is he required to answer the question?
Doesn't seem to know the answer.
Okay. Well, but he
can't answer it.
Very good. The machine self-checks itself daily, correct?
Yes, sir.
Once, twice, 3 times, how often?
At least once per day.
At least once. Does the DLS-10S ever fail in a self-check?
There are items that fail, yes, sir.
And what takes place when it fails? And what's the
if the item fails the self-check, the machine stops taking violations.
Okay, so it will not take a violation if it doesn't pass the self-check.
That's correct.
And if it self-checks, then it's producing accurate images.
Yes.
You're familiar with the composite photo defense that I and many others have used to defend against the accusations of an Optotraffic camera, correct?
I'm familiar with your defense.
Okay. And the LiDAR system utilizes a similar time and distance speed measurement formula as the composite photo analysis. Would you agree?
No.
But if we're talking about point A, point B, the time to travel between
But
point A and point B.
the photographic analysis is flawed.
I'm asking you.
So it's not similar at all.
You use time and distance to measure how far the vehicle advanced.
It is time and distance, yes, sir.
I mean, the LiDAR rays, they use time and distance to
Yes,
measure.
sir.
And the photographs you can do, you can employ the same strategy.
No, you cannot.
Well, if you have a photograph of the vehicle at point A and a photograph of the vehicle at point B.
But you're missing the third part of the formula, which is the time.
Excuse me, I'm trying to ask you a question.
Okay, well,
So
I'm
you
answering your question.
The pictures have nothing to do with the speed.
This,
Or identification of vehicles.
the state legislature, I think they differ. The TA 21809 says that a speed monitoring system means a device with one or more motor vehicle sensors producing recorded images of vehicles traveling at speeds at least 12 miles per hour above the posted speed limit.
That would be the computer,
It says recorded images.
and then it should be a data.
The data is not on the citation. The police officer is required to inspect the two images to confirm that the vehicle is in violation of TA 21809. So if we have a vehicle that's at position A and 0.4 seconds later it's at position B, and we know the distance between A and B, we can determine the speed using the same time and distance formulas that you would use in the DLS.
But again, you don't know the time.
Okay, but the time is on the ticket. There's a time stamp that you provide
The
on the
time stamp is the time that the computer ordered the cameras to take the picture. It is not necessarily the time that took place between the two pictures.
But according to state law, it has to be evidence of that violation.
It is.
Has to be
If somebody rings my doorbell and I open the bell and I see them there, that was evidence that they rang the bell. But I didn't see them ringing the bell.
They rang the bell. Somebody else could have rang the bell and left, so that's not evidence.
They could have.
During our
It's
previous
secondary evidence.
During our previous encounters, no one has attempted to answer or explain how the distance traveled between the photos on so many citations contradict the accused speed that you place on the citations. Other than the standard, the pictures don't measure speed response, how do you explain that a vehicle is accused of traveling 76 miles per hour and in 0.4363 seconds it should have covered 40 feet, but the photographs clearly indicate that it only traveled 17 feet?
I've already explained that.
You haven't explained it. You hide behind the pictures don't measure speed. But if it was photographed at this particular time, at this location, and at this particular time at that location, and is accused of traveling a speed of 76 miles per hour, that second photograph has to have it much further advanced. But nobody will address that matter. You hide behind the fact that the photos don't document that the photos. Okay,
Is that a
you're not
question?
willing to go down that road. The photographs, as you like to describe them, have some basic properties. They document that the vehicle was in motion, that they document that the vehicle was at a specific location, time, and date, and that they document the vehicle's identification, the license plate. That's the role, that's the function of the photographs, correct? So,
I'm sorry. Yes, that's what the photographs, the purpose that they serve.
having said that then, the images are supposed to be evidence of a violation according to Maryland state law. Because the vehicle is in motion, does that qualify it as speeding?
They are evidence of a violation because they are the picture of the vehicle that just triggered the sensor. That's how they're
It's supposed to
evidence.
be evidence of speeding. So if you're saying that the photographs confirm that it was in motion. Nobody's denying that the vehicles are in motion, but is it a violation of speeding to be in motion?
That's not what I'm saying.
That's the question. The question is, if a vehicle is photographed and it demonstrates that the vehicle moved, does that prove that it was violating the speed limit?
By itself, no.
It's a yes or no. Pardon me?
By itself, no.
Okay.
But it's not by
The
itself.
other purpose that these photographs are, according to you, that they have, is that the vehicle was at a specific time, date, and place. By being at a specific time, date, and place, does that make it guilty of speeding? Is it illegal? Is it against the law to be at that specific time, date, and place?
If it was at that time, date, and place, it is the vehicle that was speeding as measured by the sensors. So, yes, it's evidence of that.
You're claiming that this violation took place in front of the DLS 10S when LiDAR arrays were triggered. The photographs were taken further down the road. The fact that they were at that point in time, does that prove that that vehicle was speeding?
Those photographs prove that that vehicle violated the sensors and the lane, yes.
Okay. It also demonstrates the identification of the vehicle's tag.
Yes.
And is it, because a vehicle has a specific tag, does that mean it was speeding?
Of
You're
course
shaking your head
not.
no.
Of course not.
Thank you. Thank you. It's an honest answer.
Questions are...
Okay. Are there any specific conditions that would cause the DLS-10S to produce an erroneous reading, other than, say, if it were struck and knocked over? Are there any conditions that you discovered that may cause the DLS-10S to give a false reading?
To give a false reading?
Or an erroneous reading?
All right.
None?
I won't say none, no.
Can you think of an example? Have there been examples?
I certainly wouldn't want to tell you how to beat the machine.
I'm not trying to beat the machine. I'm asking you, in your experience, have there been circumstances or specific conditions that cause the DLS-10S to produce erroneous readings?
Yes, I remember one time we got a speed of 76 miles an hour on a deer that was crossing in front of it.
Did he get a ticket?
No.
Okay. All right.
They couldn't identify the deer.
Is it possible for the DLS-10S to produce defective, flawed, or fraudulent citations?
Is it possible for it to... No, because it doesn't
Okay.
produce
So
citations.
yes or no? You said no.
The machine
That's all I
itself
needed.
doesn't produce citations.
All right. I suppose you consider critics, people like myself, people that defend themselves in here, as disgruntled or delusional ticket recipients. Would that be correct or safe?
Well, I think that would be presumptuous for you to make that conclusion.
Do you consider the people that challenge your accuracy as disgruntled ticket recipients that were speeding?
At times?
Okay. What is a false trigger?
In reference to what?
And to the DLS-10S. Have you ever heard the term false trigger? No?
False trigger? Yeah, I've heard the
You have?
term. Yeah.
What is it?
A false trigger would be if the camera was triggered and there was no vehicle in the picture.
Is that common with the DLS-10S?
I wouldn't say so, no.
No, it's not. Okay. Can they occur after a self-test or a calibration that we refer to in the proceedings here?
Is it possible? I imagine it's possible.
Have they happened?
To my specific knowledge, no.
Okay. Can moisture in the air have an adverse effect on the DLS-10S's performance?
No.
Okay. Do you know where you were on July 21, 2011?
July 21,
Do you have a
2011.
calendar with you?
No, I don't. I mean, and July 21, I believe I was in Richmond, actually.
No, I think you were with the town of Cheverly.
Oh, I might have been.
I think you were attending a meeting with the town of Cheverly regarding problems they had with their so-called automated speed enforcement system.
That's possible.
It is possible. So there was a meeting such as that did take place?
I've had many meetings with town of Cheverly.
Right, and those meetings were to discuss, did the meeting on the 21st of July, which preceded the testimony that we talked about earlier today, that meeting on July 21, did that include discussion regarding false triggers?
I don't have a specific recollection of that.
Did that discussion include a 90% failure rate regarding the image capture done by the Optotraffic DLS-10S in the town of Cheverly?
A discussion by whom about that? I've heard people say that we have a certain percentage of failure rate. That doesn't necessarily make it true.
Okay, but was there a meeting on July 21 that you attended, or that Mario Borges, the Chief Commercial Operating Officer, attended, where you discussed with the town officials their concern regarding the 90% failure rate? Do you recall the meeting?
I recall meeting with the town of Cheverly about
Do you
various
recall
matters.
providing the town officials with technical data that you said you could not provide to them in layman's terms?
It's possible.
That's what they say that you did. Okay.
Well, they're not here, so
I know they're not here. I know they're not here. During that same meeting, though, did you discuss violations for invisible vehicles?
No.
There was no discussion of invisible vehicles receiving citations from the town?
No.
Okay. How about bicycles traveling 38 or 57 miles per hour?
I don't remember discussing such a thing.
You don't remember these discussions?
No.
Okay. During the meeting, did the discussion include violations for vehicles traveling below the posted speed limit?
That's possible. There was a time when the camera, after having been worked on, a technician set the speed limit too low. But those violations, they weren't issued violations. They showed up on the system and were never issued.
Why weren't they issued?
Because they weren't true violations.
What safeguard was put in place to prevent other municipalities from doing that?
Because there's the law that says what the speed limit is, and that's why it's reviewed by an officer.
During that meeting, did the town of Cheverly express their dissatisfaction with Optotraffic's performance?
You'd have to ask the town of Cheverly
Well,
that.
I'm asking you.
I won't comment on what the town of Cheverly said.
Are you currently doing business with the town of Cheverly?
We still have a contract with the town of Cheverly at this point.
Wasn't that contract terminated?
It has not been terminated at this point.
Because there are some citations. Are your cameras still located in the town of Cheverly?
No,
Because
the speeding problem had gone away.
but they still have they have cameras. They have speed cameras there, sir.
They chose to go with another method of enforcement.
Another camera company that uses a different technology. Okay. Bear with me a second. Your Honor, I am not completely familiar with the rules of evidence or how I can introduce this to you. May I read it? Should I present it to you? It's a letter from the town of Cheverly to Mr. Mario Borges. Okay. But the contents of this letter, especially where Mr. Warrington claims that the cameras are still not functioning properly, they indicate that that Optotraffic removed the cameras to change the software on the camera, or to update the software on the cameras. Did you remove the cameras to update the software on the cameras?
We checked the cameras. We removed the cameras to check them for accuracy.
And when you put them back in service, were they accurate?
Yes.
That's contrary to what you were told by the town of Cheverly. Well, I think it's obvious that Optotraffic was fired by the town of Cheverly.
No, that's not true.
Well, this is a smoking gun here. I can't present it in court, but you claim that the machine does not produce inaccurate images. And the discussion that we just had, the town of Cheverly had 90% of the images that they were reviewing with you were erroneous.
Where's the proof of that?
It's in this documentation here.
Well,
Well, we could.
I don't believe that's what it says.
You also claim that the Optotraffic DLS-10S can withstand 80-mile-per-hour winds and hurricane force.
I said that it had been tested in such a way.
I've heard